What's going on here? What does President Trump want from the BBC?
Well, he wants an apology, he wants a retraction, and he wants them to pay some money. I think they will make the apology they essentially already have, and the retraction, they've already essentially fired, resigned two of their top people. But I think he'd like some money as well, and he has a fair chance of getting it because he can sue both in the United States, in any one of the states that he would like to sue in, and he can sue in Great Britain. He has a very, very strong case in the United States because there is clear defamation and there's very strong argument for malice because they deliberately manipulated the timing and created a situation that created what's called defamation by inference. So I think he would win on that. The question is the statute of limitations. This happened a long time ago, and in Great Britain, statute of limitations are very, very rigid. In America, less so. What I think they'll argue in the American courts is that the cause of action didn't really accrue until the Telegraph came out with its leaked memorandum acknowledging that this had been done deliberately. So I think he has a strong case, but not an absolute certain case.
I mean, the journalists involved with the Panorama documentary say that they believed that ultimately the piece itself was a fair reflection of what ended up happening because Donald Trump did say both of those sections, although not in the way that they were presented, they were in different parts of the speech. I mean, America has quite strong freedom of speech protections. What chances do you think he would have in a court in the US?
A very, very strong case because he's going to be able to show that they deliberately manipulated the timing and created a false impression. Sure, maybe ultimately he may be responsible. People can make that judgment, but they have to make the judgment based on an accurate reporting. And Trump's argument is that they made inaccurate reporting and therefore drove a conclusion that whether it's right or wrong doesn't matter as a matter of law. As a matter of law, the issue is did they deliberately, willfully, and with malice manipulate the timing so as to deliberately create a false impression? And I think they'll win on that. The question is the statute of limitations. In some jurisdictions, it's a year, in some it's two, in some it's three, and in some it accrues at the moment that the alleged defamation occurs. Sometimes it can occur later. So it's not a slam dunk case, but it's quite a strong case in the United States, despite its First Amendment protections.
And what do you think Donald Trump's motivation is here? Do you think this is political? Is this helpful to him to have this as a platform? Or is this genuinely a concern from Donald Trump and the Trump team about damage to his reputation?
Oh, I think all of the above. I think also he wants to get even. He's angry. He's mad. He thinks that they deliberately distorted the facts. He's not one that lets these things drop. He did, after all, sue many American media, including the New York Times and CBS. And he's very litigious, and he's had great success in getting people to settle. Now, it's much easier to get an American media company to settle because Trump has leverage over them. He has no leverage over the BBC, certainly not any direct leverage. So it's less likely that the BBC will actually throw in the towel and settle. But they have a good chance of losing if they don't. And remember, the other thing is in Great Britain, verdicts in these kinds of cases are pretty small compared to the United States. In the United States, they are humongous. He's suing for over $1 billion. Now, he's not going to get that, but he could collect hundreds of millions of dollars if he were to win this lawsuit. So the BBC is at something of a risk.
And one element of the letter from Donald Trump's team to the BBC is this suggestion that they would like the apology and the retraction, but also some compensation. That's before you get to this lawsuit. What kind of level of compensation do you think they are looking for? It's financial compensation. So do you have any idea of what that number might be?
It's very hard because if they come up with a number that's too small, he'll be insulted. And so they have to come up with a number that makes some sense. The other point that I think is very important is there will be amicus curiae briefs filed by other groups that believe the BBC has been unfair to them. For example, there will be some Jewish groups that will claim and look to the Telegraph leak for support that the reporting on Gaza, particularly by the Arab branch of BBC, has been unfair as well. So you may get people joining together to go after the BBC. Now, they don't have good lawsuits because you can't bring a lawsuit on behalf of a country or on behalf of a people. You have to bring it on behalf of an individual, but they will certainly want a decision that suggests that the BBC is biased in certain areas, including areas that are important to them.
So you're suggesting that other groups might use this as an opportunity to make their own points about the BBC and its bias.
They're already doing so. Already, you're hearing a lot of complaints about BBC's reporting on other issues as well. This is a very bad day for the BBC. This is the tip of a very deep iceberg, according to a lot of people, and who believe that the BBC's fairness and objectivity has been long overrated. And this is really, really a stain on the BBC because they have admitted now that they deliberately distorted the timing. And that's just very, very bad journalism. So BBC has a lot of recovering to do. And the question for them and their lawyers is going to be, will it be better to put this behind them by trying to resolve this? Or is it better to let it linger and maybe win the case, but perhaps lose it?
Do you think if the BBC were to offer an apology and obviously a retraction to Donald Trump, and to do that in a more formal manner than we've seen so far, do you think that given his warm feelings towards this country, which he's expressed at length in the past, and the monarchy and King Charles, do you think there is a world in which Donald Trump steps back from this?
No, he loves Great Britain. He loves the monarchy. He hates the media. And he hates the BBC more than he hates most other media. And so, no, he will not see this as an attack on Great Britain. He will see this as defending the rights of British readers to get a fair assessment of the news. So that's a non-starter. I think there has to be a profuse apology. And if I were suggesting things to the BBC, I would suggest a substantial contribution to a charity that's relevant to the president, might put this thing behind them. Otherwise, just litigate this thing and argue about the statute of limitations, and maybe you'll have a chance to win on that rather technical basis.
Alan, finally, I have to ask you, you obviously know Donald Trump personally. Have you spoken to him about it? Do you expect to get a call about it from him?
No, I haven't spoken to him about this. I have spoken to him about the media, obviously, over the years, and there's nothing that gets him angrier than when the media distorts reality and creates a false impression. So, he is very angry at this. And for him, it's a no-lose proposition because he has been attacking the media all over the United States and in Great Britain. And for his constituents, this is a win-win. So I think the BBC has to assume he's going to go forward aggressively. And they have the burden of now coming forward and doing something to stop this from happening and preserving their image and preserving their integrity. It's not going to be easy for the BBC.
Alan Dershowitz, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.